Today's webinar will be in regards to room sealing in pulp and paper mills. My name is Anthony Yamini. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Business Development. So I have the pleasure of giving this presentation. Should be somewhat high level, but very informative when we're talking about room sealing, paper mills, and the importance of doing a proper job for that. So with that said, we're going to get started. So today we're just going to talk about the introduction to pure air filtration, which those that are familiar with our webinar series is probably old information, but it's always good. We'd like to provide that refresher to let everyone know how pure air stands apart from our competition. Then we'll also talk about the benefits of room sealing, process of room sealing, so finding the room penetrations, room integrity tests, an example of room sealing, and kind of what Pure Air does different than our competitors and other vendors out there. We have some case studies, and then at the end, after questions, we're going to talk about a little bit about Pure Air's exciting news as far as the future of the company. All right. So Pure Filtration, our manufacturing facility here in Atlanta, Georgia, we were established almost 20 years ago. We will celebrate our 20th anniversary next year in 2024. So we're looking very excited about having the longevity as a company and looking forward to the future and even increasing our footprint and our offerings. We have more than 40 employees here in the Atlanta, Georgia, as well as employees in the UAE, Dubai. We also have employees in the Netherlands as well, and some in Asia. And we have sales all over the world, 50 countries around the world. So our current footprint is pretty expansive. And what sets Pure Air apart from the competition? We are a single source manufacturer for the gas phase filtration absorbent media, the systems, as well as any monitoring units, your monitoring devices to monitor air quality or media life. We are ISO 9001 certified, and we work in multiple different industries and applications that require gas phase filtration. We manufacture the majority of our absorbent medias in-house, so that gives us that ability to ensure we have top quality products, as well as providing custom solutions for very unique applications. We can also monitor the media life in systems, whether it's in the field, electronically, remotely. We also have a world-class testing laboratory here at our headquarters that we can test samples of media from our systems, as well as other vendors and competitor systems as well, to determine the media life, and that allows us to provide a better solution. So now we want to talk about room sealing for this webinar. So as mentioned in discussed in previous webinars, Pure Filtration, we work in various industries that require gas phase filtration. So that's such as odor and environmental emission controls. That'd be more municipalities for odor removal, some of those odorous gases, H2S, VOCs, mercaptans. We also work in indoor air quality to provide clean air, whether it's in airports, museums, hotels. We also work with emergency gas scrubbers. So we want to remove toxic gas mitigation for plants that are using very toxic gases, for whether it's for disinfection, for water disinfection, so on and so forth. We can provide systems for that. And then we also protection of critical electronics from failure. So this industry, or this application, is where the room sealing comes into play, to ensure we're not having there's no downtime for plant downtime due to equipment failure, due to corrosive gases. So the benefits of room sealing. So a well sealed room will ensure that we're keeping the good air inside of the electrical space, or the room that has the critical electronic equipment, making sure we keep that good purified air in the room, but we're also keeping the bad air or the corrosive air out of the room itself. So in that way, so that ensures that we have a system that will pressurize that room, keep the corrosive gases out, and keep the good air in, recirculated through the system. So so now, but by having that well sealed room, that will allow us to provide, you can provide a smaller air purification unit, because you don't have to worry about any leaks that are penetrating through the room itself. And now with the smaller air purification unit, you can also have a small air handling unit. So what that will translate into is that you'll have a lower capital cost for the equipment. The air purification system that's provided will be more efficient. And in addition, you'll have a lower operating cost throughout the life of the unit itself. Uh, it was brought to my attention when I visited one of the paper mill here in Georgia, and to show you the importance of room sealing. I was told that the cost of unplanned downtime at a paper mill is about $1 million per day, and on an hourly rate, from $200 to $500,000 an hour, depending on how many paper machines they normally have operating. Uh, and those corrosive gases that are present at a paper mill will cause unplanned downtime. So it really shows the importance of having the rooms protected, and the best way of doing that is to ensure you have proper room integrity. So the process of room sealing. So first, define what constitutes the controlled space. So what is that space? Is it just one room, or is it multiple rooms that are attached or detached? You have to keep that in mind and take a look at the overall big picture. And then second, you want to seek out any openings and penetrations that are in the room itself, whether that's, and we'll talk about this a little bit more in one of the next slides. But any penetrations, whether it's conduit, door sweeps, anything. And we want to envision creating that continuous, like an air barrier inside, connecting all the spaces. So you want to make sure that no air is getting in or out. We catching all the air. So third, we begin the sealing by working with fire-rated materials as a precaution in the event of a fire. We avoid some of the caulks and silicones for the sealing. And also, actually, one of the simplest forms of sealing is actually just a good coat of paint on the walls of the room itself, because majority of these plants, they just use like a cinder block construction, so they just have porous. Cinder block by nature is just porous, so that way a good coat of paint will provide some benefit as well. And then fourth, we'll perform a room integrity test to validate the performance and the room sealing performance of the space, and in that way we can highlight any missed sealing opportunities or locations. All right, so finding the room penetrations. So some penetrations are easy to spot and easy to identify. So you have maybe an open cable tray, or quite simply a hole in the wall. If they were all that easy, that would make the lives of our crew much easier. But there are some others that are very a little more difficult to see, and most people will miss it. Whether that's the roof wall seams, at the stiffening ridges, inside conduits entering the space from outside the wall, conduits entering from underneath electrical cabinets, enclosures that do not, or closures that do not pull the door all the way shut. That's really often overlooked. And warped door slabs, missing or incorrectly installed door seals and sweeps. And believe it or not, light switches and outlets can be a source of bypass as well. they're connected to the outside of the confined space. Uh, yeah, and many people, it's important to mention that many people will seal the outside of the condos, but not the inside. And I will say our crews that we send out for the room ceilings, they have extensive knowledge and expertise at identifying all room penetrations and the potential for leaks. Okay, here it's just a photo kind of showing kind of before and after photo room penetrations, uh, and how important it is to seal up. It's pretty, photo is pretty self-explanatory. So the room integrity test, which is very important. So after uh, we believe we've identified all of the points of penetration and sealed it to our uh, standard from the outside, we define, that, we have that air barrier designed properly and the room is properly sealed. We'll perform a room integrity test. And we do that by using a blower door to verify and document if the volume inside the confined space performs up to expected pre-established standard. So typically, kind of the rule of thumb is you want to have a pressure of the 5% minimum of the room volume is required for these systems. So typically, after a room ceiling, that number should be very achievable. But in some cases, we can even exceed that number as well, especially with the proper sealing. But after during the room integrity test, problems could arise. So there may be some issues. So it may be necessary for us to pressurize the space again. So from there, we would use smoke tubes to locate any of the hidden leaks that may be present. Because in some cases, there are a lot of penetrations and a lot of these buildings and these control rooms that some of these plants have quite a bit of age on them. So there's potential for leaks everywhere. So it's really helpful once we identify there's still some leaks, we can use smoke tubes to determine where they are, seal this up properly. So once we have everything sealed, once again, we'll reperform the room integrity test to ensure that we are meeting the requirements. Again, as I mentioned earlier about doors are often overlooked. It's very important to ensure that the doors are proper and they're properly sealed, and make sure that any door sweeps and closures that the door closes all completely. Because that's be one of the probably most common areas for leakage and bypass. But once that door is properly sealed, the air quality should return and remain in its intended state. All right. So what Pure Air does different? So as I mentioned previously, our crews are very skilled and very knowledgeable as far as identifying all the penetrations that may be present in a room itself. So we're looking for all possibilities, and not just obvious or issues or very let's say general obvious or very blatant room ceilings or holes or penetrations. Uh, and we conduct that room integrity test, and most of our competition they do not offer this step for various reasons. As mentioned, either they don't know how to do the test itself, or they don't want to pay for the equipment such as the blower door, because it does have some cost to it, and really just not willing to put in the time and effort uh, to ensure that the customer is getting the proper services that they require. And that's really what sets Pure Air Filtration apart from our competition, is that we're looking at the entire picture, whether that's providing the air purification units to clean the air inside the room, but also ensuring that we're going to make sure that room is properly sealed and properly pressurized to ensure that there's no unplanned downtime costing millions of dollars for those plants. All right. So that's a very short presentation, more of a high level presentation for the room ceilings.